$3 laundry aisle, that's the whole answer. The powder is Oxygen Laundry Booster. Turn the box over and look for sodium percarbonate on the ingredient list. That's it. That's what pulls 20 years of black grime out of a concrete driveway. Now walk to the other end of the same store. Hardware aisle. There's a heavy plastic jug labeled Oxygenated Concrete Cleaner, $25. And the active ingredient on the back is the identical compound. 8 times the price for a photo of a patio on the label. But cheap isn't why I use it. I use it because it cleans deeper than a pressure washer does. And the pressure washer is the thing that's been quietly ruining your slab. Let me show you why. I watched my granddaddy do this in 1994 in North Alabama. July morning, hot enough that the cicadas were already going in the oaks by 8. He was out by the vegetable patch with a galvanized bucket, stirring white powder into water he'd carried from the kitchen sink, still steaming. He poured it over the blotchy slabs by his rose bushes, and the concrete started to fizz. A fine, dense hiss, like a soda can that won't settle down. We went in and ate lunch. When we came back out, that walk looked like it had been poured that spring. And then I spent the next 15 years doing it the other way. He never owned a pressure washer. I rented one every spring. The 3000 PSI machine, ran it past my hydrangea beds, felt good about the clean stripe it left behind. Then, one summer, I got down on my knees and actually looked at the surface. Fine cracks, all through it, like crazed pottery glaze. I'd put them there myself. Concrete feels solid under your boots. It isn't. When cement hydrates, it sets up a network of capillary tunnels running down through the slab, most of them between 10 and 50 nanometers across. Put that in scale. You could line up 2,000 of the widest ones side by side across a single human hair. 20 years of tree sap, algae, and motor oil work down into that network. Your scrub brush reaches none of it. You wash the top. The driveway looks better for a month, and then the first hard rain wicks the stain back up through the same tunnels it went down. Here's the part nobody renting you a machine will mention. 3,000 pounds per square inch doesn't lift that dirt out. It drives water in, and on the way it strips off the fine layer of cement paste on top, the smooth skin of the slab. What's underneath is rougher and more open. You've just widened every pore on the driveway. Next season's dirt goes in faster and sits deeper. You didn't clean it, you sanded it. So, sodium percarbonate. It's hydrogen peroxide locked into soda ash in dry form. A Russian chemist first made it in a lab in 1899. Not new, not a breakthrough. It's been sitting in plain sight for 120-odd years. Drop it in warm water, and it comes apart immediately into washing sodas and hydrogen peroxide. The liquid goes cloudy with microscopic oxygen bubbles and turns mildly alkaline, somewhere between 9 and 11 on the pH scale. Those bubbles go where your brush can't. They travel down the capillaries, find the chemical bonds holding algae and leaf tannin onto the pore walls, and snap them. The washing soda handles the grease. It turns oil into something water can carry. And the direction is the whole point. Pressure pushes dirt down, bubbles rise. The grime comes up to the surface where a hose can take it away. Most people who try this once and give up made the same mistake I did. My first attempt was out by the compost bins. I filled a bucket from the garden hose, dumped the powder in, stirred, and watched it settle on the bottom like sand. Nothing happened. I figured I'd been sold a story. Cold water. That was the entire problem. The reaction needs heat, 104 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, before it releases oxygen at any useful rate. Below that, it just sits there, warm the water, and the decomposition speeds up enormously. Kitchen tap, hot side, that's all it takes. Second thing that kills it, a bone-dry driveway. Dry concrete is thirsty. Pour solution onto it, and it won't spread. It gets sucked straight down into whatever patch it landed on and stops. You end up with clean spots and dirty spots, and no way to blend them. Mist the slab with the hose first, not soaked, damp. Fill the pores with plain water, and the cleaner glides across and settles in evenly. While it's sitting there wet, watch what the water does. If it beads up and lies on the surface, your driveway is sealed. There's a film on top, and nothing you pour is getting down into the pores. You'd be scrubbing plastic. If it darkens the concrete and soaks in within a few seconds, you're good to go. And the mix itself, a cup of powder to a gallon of hot water, and 1 gallon covers about 50 square feet. A 2-car driveway takes 4 or 5 gallons. Mix it in batches as you work, not all at once in the morning, because the moment that powder dissolves, it starts giving up its oxygen. A bucket that's been standing an hour is already weaker than the one you just made. Now you wait. 15 to 20 minutes. And this is where people ruin it. The reaction only runs while the surface is wet. Sun dries a patch. That patch stops. No warning. No second chance. So keep a hand sprayer with you and walk the slab, misting anything that starts going pale. Watch the foam while you do it. White at first. Then it turns the color of strong tea. That's 20 years of your driveway coming out. Then rinse it off with a garden hose. Just a hose. Household water runs around 50 psi. Call it a 60th of what the rental machine puts out. And you don't need more, because the dirt isn't in the slab anymore. It's lying on top of it. The alternatives are the reason I stopped shopping that aisle altogether. Muriatic acid and chlorine bleach will burn turf and kill the soil microbes around your root zones. Sodium percarbonate breaks down into water, oxygen, and soda ash. Rinse well anyway. That alkalinity has to go somewhere, and you'd rather it went down the drive than into your beds. But it won't scorch a rose bush the way bleach will. And I'll say the unpopular thing about the professional crews. They're worth the money if you don't have a Saturday. The speed is real. The equipment is real. What they're not doing is anything chemically clever. It's $18.99 chemistry with a bigger tank. What I'd argue with is the replacement quote, $4,000 to tear out and re-pour a driveway that isn't cracked, isn't heaving, isn't failing. It's dirty. $10 of laundry booster and a kettle of warm water will tell you which one you've actually got. Same powder works on your deck. And your brick path. Wood and clay brick have the same problem concrete does. Open grain, trapped moisture. Green algae living down inside where the surface never dries out. High pressure is even worse there. 5 seconds on a wooden bench turns a smooth seat into splinters. 1 cup of powder to 1 gallon of warm water. Soft bristle brush, 10 minutes. Rinse. That's the whole recipe for a weathered bench or a mossy walkway. There's a box of it in my potting shed right now next to the twine, about half gone. It'll come out again in April when the moss on the north side of the path starts getting slick.